Hi guys, welcome back to Tommy's Starcraft. It's your host Tommy with yet another ladder replay game from the South Korean scene. Of course, you should know who these players are, and as you know, Flash has recently returned from his military service, very active on the Korean ladder. So we have him spawning here in the upper right part as the brown Terran, and his opponent La Dolce Vita, but this has been told to me that it is of course the AK from JAEDONG, who is spawning here in the low right as the orange Zerg. So interesting nickname, La Dolce Vita Italian, the sweet life. I hope JAEDONG has indeed a sweet and beautiful life. So yeah, the spawning here on a 4 spawning location map very soon. We're going to be of course checking out their build order just like we did in the previous replays here onto this channel. So yeah, Terran versus Zerg, it is going to be quite a long replay, as you can see. Finally I found a long replay from these two titans of Starcraft. As luckily here for JAEDONG, his overlord is heading towards the right direction, towards the base here from Flash. In the upper right, of course, as always, you can see the production tab just in case I'm missing something. And it looks like JAEDONG is going for a fast expansion build order with one overlord and then 2 drones. So yeah, not going for a fast spawning pool. Of course, the 4 spawning location map is allowing him to be more safe, to go for a more safe build order, and very soon he's going to be having the minerals for his expansion. There it is. Flash in the meantime looking very standardly with his supply depot and his barracks next to his ramp, and already sending out here his SCV, and I believe JAEDONG saw this one, so did Flash, but I'm sure he's going to check out the expansion point, and with that I believe he's also going for a fast expansion. So both players looking like they're preparing a macro-oriented game. The overlord already hiding. In comes the SCV, sees the second overlord, sees the expansion, and there's the spawning pool into the gas for JAEDONG. Already JAEDONG nice with a good hit here versus the SCV. Good micro here, of course, by Flash. And yeah, the pretty standard stuff. And indeed, there's the reaction from Flash, immediately also going for a expansion. JAEDONG close by, I believe he's going to be seeing this very soon. But of course, he knows the build order from the Terrans, so he's anticipating that as well. We see also second move out here by the overlord, so pretty standard stuff. The SCV once again is going to stay as long as he can just to see when or if there's going to be a tier 2 upgrade for the hatchery in order to go for some Mutalisk. Of course, JAEDONG is known for his Mutalisk gameplay. It could be that he's once again going for Mutalisk. Let's check Flash. There is his gas, there is a second supply depot, and yeah, like I told you, pretty standard stuff. And actually JAEDONG deciding to show his tier 2 upgrade here to Flash. He could have of course went for the tier 2 here, but the SCV still close by, so very important of course to have a scout into the enemy base just to see exactly what he's going for. And Flash really nicely microing this SCV with over 400 APM here for him. So crazy stuff indeed for the champion of the Terrans, as we see him transfer some SCVs towards the expansion point. Slowly but steadily the SCV is taking some damage, so I believe Flash is going to pull out a little bit. Maybe he can swap the hurt SCV with a new SCV, even going for a bunker here. So I believe this is in order to create a beeline to not allow the Zerglings to run by, and indeed the drones have taken care of the SCV. So let's just see if Flash is going to be going for a second SCV. We see the tier 2 finishing very soon. There's an interesting macro hatch here by JAEDONG, so let's see what exactly this is going to be done for him. We have a Spire for him, so it's indeed going to be Mutalisk versus the Terran versus Flash. Flash should of course react with an engineering bay very soon with his turrets in order to have defenses versus the Spire versus the Mutalisk, which will arrive very soon versus him. Gas should of course be done here. We also have some plants here, I believe. And yeah, Flash just nicely creating a good build order here, a nice sim city in order to make it very hard for the Zerglings to run here by. So very smart gameplay here by him. The bunker is full, so it would be pretty much suicide here for JAEDONG to move forward with some Zerglings. There's even 2 Marines blocking the entrance. Yeah, and you can notice on the minimap there's so many overlords, so many Zerglings on the map. JAEDONG making sure he has as much map control as possible, as we see him go into some sunkens. Yeah, I believe I'm going to leave this one, or actually cancel this one. I'm going to leave the bar here open, or would it be better without it to see more of the action? But hold on, actually some Zerglings do make it here forward. JAEDONG causing a little bit of panic, but as you can see, Flash has 32 workers versus the 24, and even Great Micro here, I believe he's going to heal the Marine very soon. So let's see when exactly the first Mutalisks are getting produced. We see Stim for Flash, we see another barracks. Let's check his main, actually going very heavily into those barracks. And now we have in the factory with the starport and actually going for some Valkyries. So no mass Marines this time with the science vessel. He decides to go for Valkyries. Let's see how this is going to work out as the first Mutalisks do move here out, and actually 8 of them, no 7, sorry. And JAEDONG also having this expansion right here. So let's see. I believe Flash didn't went into so many turrets. He's going to rely pretty much onto those Valkyries. Let's see if this was a wise decision by him. JAEDONG nicely moving here forward, sniping SCV after SCV. And yet another SCV has been killed, so Flash has to bring back another SCV. But now finally in comes the Valkyrie, and immediately JAEDONG decides to pull back. Of course, those Mutalisks will be able to take care of the Valkyrie, but let's not forget that he can be repaired by the SCV, and that there are even some turrets here behind. So Flash looking really, really strong, and even going for another Valkyrie. So of course there's the production tab. You know, strangely enough, Valkyries it is going to be here for a Flash. Quite a rare sight. But then again, I'm sure he knows exactly what he is doing. So once again, the early game doesn't really work out here for JAEDONG. He decides to go for some Scourges versus those Valkyries, as in comes the push out by Flash, but JAEDONG tries to bypass this. He's trying to snipe those Valkyries, but still one is being left alive, and more damage is being taken here by JAEDONG. Those meters really, really low. At the same time, in comes the push out here by Flash, but I believe one Valkyrie has been taken out, so a good move here by JAEDONG. And at the same time, he's going to be able to snipe some units here, I believe. Yes, indeed. As in comes once again the Valkyrie. The Marines are also nicely shooting. Stim should of course be up. There it is, the Valkyrie has fallen. Great Mutalisk micro here by JAEDONG, and both players are trading some units. Slowly but steadily we're closing towards the 10-minute mark. In the end, JAEDONG being successful here, killing the Marines from Flash. So perhaps a little bit of a mistake here by Flash, trying something new with this Valkyrie unit. Usually he goes into mass turrets with mass Marines and medics, but this time he decided to go for some Valkyries in the air, and more damage is actually now being taken by JAEDONG. So both players nicely trading, but remember, JAEDONG still has this expansion right here, and slowly but still JAEDONG is actually closing up into the worker count, actually now having more workers here than Flash. So yeah, Flash did lose some workers here from those Mutalisks, and perhaps there is a small advantage now here for JAEDONG into this game. And let's see what the next build orders are going to be. Looks like JAEDONG is actually preparing a full-on attack with some Zerglings, with some Hydralisks. We might see some Lurkers very soon, so Flash might have to be forced into going for some tanks. Because this position right here would be really good for the tanks. And let's see what exactly his options are going to be. 3 Valkyries in the air, but they will be pretty much useless now, as JAEDONG is going for Zerglings and for some Hydralisk, and yeah, even some Scourges here to take care of those units. So yeah, we see the Marines stimming up. The Zerglings take a good position, but in the end those Stim Marines with the medics will of course be very strong versus the Zerglings on the ground. So I believe this is going to force indeed a sunken build order. We see some Lurkers, so JAEDONG immediately reacting versus the bio here from Flash, as the Lurkers I believe should finish on time. And those Cocoons are also very, very tanky versus the Marines. Same time we see another move out here by Flash. I believe he's going to try to snipe some Overlords, but in the end he decides to pull back. I believe he's fearing some Scourges. There are indeed the Scourges close by. So quite an interesting game. We are passing the half-minute mark very soon. Let's check the main here from JAEDONG. He's going for the TS3. We might see some Defilers, or we should be seeing actually some Defilers very soon, of course, for him, as he's transitioning to more and more ground units. JAEDONG should be fine with the Defilers, and actually a very sneaky move out here by Flash with a full dropship and with those Valkyries in the front to secure the movement forward. Let's see, so many Scourges here for JAEDONG, and in comes the attack slowly but steadily. In comes Flash, and he might even pull out those units into the medivac. Just patrolling here the main from JAEDONG, so JAEDONG in some serious trouble very soon as those Marines are moving forward towards the main entrance here. Now snapping more drones at the same time. The Valkyries in the air, so very nice move here by Flash as he's preparing another drop here. Very nice stuff, losing of course some units, but in the end it was all worthy as more and more Marines are moving here forward for him. And once again he's swapping the medivac towards the new units, and even some lurkers will be killed. As a great micro here by Flash, trying to split those Marines as much as he can, and at the same time microing that medivac. There it is, loading up and unloading, so causing some chaos here versus JAEDONG. Very nice move by him. Just needs to be careful now against the Scourges in the air. There is the medivac, in it comes, but still Flash on 2 bases versus the many bases here for JAEDONG, and the Scourges now might get some good connection. So finally I believe this dropship harassment is over, but still the Vultures are killing more units here and even placing those mines. There should be vision of course for JAEDONG. Yeah, quite a nice abusement gameplay here by Flash versus his opponent, but still this expansion right here is not getting touched. Flash tries of course to place as many mines as possible. In the end this will be cleared, some damage will be taken, and now finally Flash deciding to take his expansion here as well. So at around the 12-minute mark, actually the 11-minute mark, is going for his 12 o'clock position, and JAEDONG actually being forced to stay back, fearing of course another drop with some medivacs. Quite a nice move by Flash, now even moving out with the Vultures, but the defenses look of course really strong with the Sunken, with the lurkers, and JAEDONG even leaving a lurker here to block the entrance to secure his expansion right here. So Flash still a little bit behind if you ask me, but if you look at the worker count, he has 51, so let's see how the game is going to continue. He now has vision versus the lurkers. He's also having so many Vultures, so he might transition into some, he is indeed transitioning into some mech gameplay. He's going for some tanks I believe with Vultures, with Goliaths perhaps. The barracks are now pretty much getting loosed out to give vision towards the map as much as they can. And let's see what's JAEDONG going to be doing. More macro hatches for him pretty soon. I'm sure we're going to be seeing some defilers, but yeah, JAEDONG decided to play it now very safe, very defensively. He is of course fearing another drop, so this is why he's staying back. And Flash all of a sudden regaining more map vision, more map control as the barracks are moving out. He has so many mines on the ground all around the map, so quite an interesting game by him. He also has many units spread out to give more vision here for him, to give more protection towards his expansions. And indeed he's going for a switch into mech. So it looks like Flash believes that into the middle game and into the late game tanks would be more better with Vultures, and we actually see a Ultra-Risk Cavern straight reaction here for JAEDONG, as we are going to be very likely seeing Zerglings with Ultra-Risk, with Defilers versus the mech switch here from Flash, as Flash is taking yet another expansion. So quite interesting stuff. Hold on, actually we see another drop happening here, even catching me off guard. So once again the Vultures are here really fast. JAEDONG caught a little bit off guard. A very smart move indeed by Flash, a very fast move by him. Of course the Vultures will be sacrificed, but they're doing their job really wisely, even placing some mines. Nice dodge here by JAEDONG with the cocoon. But yeah, a little bit of panic by him as JAEDONG has dropped now to 38 workers, and of course some mining time has been denied by him. So Flash is back, he's quite strong. He is now switching towards tanks, mass tanks with Vultures. I don't see any Goliaths yet for him. We see some upgrades of course for the vehicles, so a full swap for him into mech units. He has vision with some science vessels here, so he should be fine versus the lurkers, as the Vultures give of course more vision, and even the map, even the medivacs are patrolling here the map. So if you look at the mini-map, there's brown all over the place. Flash being present all over the place, having so much vision, even scanning the areas here. We do have great Nidus connections for JAEDONG, as both players are indeed looking very strong with their macro game. Let's see when or if Flash is going to move out. He's producing more and more units, especially those tanks. 0 to 1 upgrades for the tanks. Slowly but steadily, Flash is approaching the main expansion here from his opponent. You have that Nido Swarm. Let's see what Flash can do here. He has vision, he has those tanks, and let's see how the game is going to continue. And we actually see some vultures even securing this place right here, but the real action is of course going to happen here. One lurker immediately getting taken out, the second one also taking quite some damage. There we have the Defiler with massive storms, Dark Swarms. We even have defensive matrix, double defensive matrix onto those units, but there is no anti-air, so the shuttle, sorry, the science vessel is going to be taken out. Yeah, in come the first Ultralisk, so JAEDONG seems to be prepared against the massive move out here by Flash. And yet those Defilers really strong with the Ultralisk together. So let's see if Flash going to be successful here with his max switch, and what exactly is going to happen here, as indeed he's going for more tanks, more vultures, and at the same time also preparing his expansions, I believe, even leaving some group of marines here to defend. And at the same time JAEDONG also looking really strong with his Defilers, with his Ultralisk. I believe speed has not been done yet for those Ultralisk, and there it is. That's movement and evolve carapace indeed for those Ultralisk here, as well as Flash once again is moving forward, this time with some Goliaths as well, with some tanks. But like I told you, JAEDONG seems to be prepared for that, as he's also securing here his base. And you can see even supply wise, JAEDONG having more supply than his opponent, as he's moving out with some Zerling. Let's check those upgrades for the Zerlings. 2 to 1. And the tanks are now moving forward. I believe Flash is going to try to attack the newly established base. There is a Nido Swarm. Actually, we do see an engagement here, but sadly no Defiler here for JAEDONG, so he's pretty much leaving those units here to be killed. Finally the Defiler arrives and the lurker is here in position. Second Defiler also arriving here, so more and more Dark Swarm is getting casted here versus Flash. So Flash taking more and more casualties. The same, however, can be said here from his opponent, as even the tanks have taken a spell here from the Defiler. I believe Plague, it's of course Plague. So yeah, still a interesting game, still anyone's game of course, as more and more Zerglings are getting produced. So with Zerglings and with the Defilers, JAEDONG looking really strong, especially with those Defilers in the late game. Very hard here for Flash to punch forward. The mines are doing some good damage. The tanks are also getting some great connections here from the high ground, as Flash is of course securing this base right here, and JAEDONG moving more and more forward. There are those upgrades 4 to 1, and let's see what is going to happen here as the Zerglings are pouring forward. Flash tries to secure the expansion with the mines, but more and more bases here for JAEDONG, and worker wise still Flash having more workers as he's once again moving forward with his tanks. And yeah, JAEDONG seems to be on standby here. No Defiler for him. A huge move out, however, now into the middle of the map, but the mines are getting some good connection, so JAEDONG might try to surround Flash very soon. However, he's not deciding to add some Defilers, so in comes the attack from different fronts. But there's a nice beeline getting formed here for Flash, and sadly here for JAEDONG there are no Defilers. Finally in comes another attack with some Zerglings, with some Ultralisk on the ground, but still no Defilers to back this up. So perhaps a mistake here by JAEDONG, as he's losing more and more supply versus his opponent. So interesting enough, he decided not to go for Defilers, just leaving those Zerglings to be butchered, and the Ultralisk here as well. So quite an interesting move, as Flash is gaining more and more map control, even securing now the middle of the map. So a very interesting game indeed. We're in the closing minutes actually here, so what exactly can be the answer here for JAEDONG? He's going for some Broodlings, so let's see if this is going to indeed help. Broodlings of course really strong, and more Defilers on the ground here for JAEDONG, but slowly but steadily Flash is moving more and more forward, gaining more and more map control, and I believe very soon he's going to attack the newly established bases here from his opponent, from JAEDONG. Let's check the upgrades once again. 1 to 2, 5 to 1 here, as the Defiler will of course give good protection, but there's so much mech here for Flash, as his tanks are slowly but steadily closing by. At the same time, JAEDONG having also more and more of a supply, but let's see if it's going to be enough versus so many tanks, also so many vultures. Once again, JAEDONG with the defilers having great protection here versus his opponent. Flash is getting pushed back, so quite a strong defense here by JAEDONG indeed, with massive amounts of dark swarms versus his opponent. And yeah, great mech switch. Let's see if it's going to work out for Flash, as he's grouping his tanks into different mini groups here and just trying to deal as much splash damage as possible versus his opponent, killing unit after unit and at the same time bringing his reinforcements slowly but steadily forward. And let's have a look at the reaction here from JAEDONG. He's preparing an attack. He's going to try very likely to surround the units very soon, preparing units all over the place. Look at that, so many queens here for JAEDONG, a very beautiful sight indeed. And let's see when the attack is going to happen. I believe all of those queens will punish the tanks very soon. Does Flash know about those queens? As once again in comes the push out. The queens are on standby, they have good energy. Let's see if JAEDONG is just going to surprise Flash, and could this be the winning move from JAEDONG, as Flash is moving slowly but steadily forward towards the newly established base, bringing his reinforcements. Massive amounts of tanks here for Flash with good upgrades 2 to 3, as JAEDONG is taking more and more damage. Still the queens on standby, not moving forward here for JAEDONG. I hope he didn't forget about those queens, as yeah, slowly but steadily Flash is just pushing here forward. Interesting stuff here. You need the queens not yet ready to react by JAEDONG, as more and more damage is being taken here by both sides. Perhaps the queens will be a surprise attack for JAEDONG versus the tanks. And yeah, here they come straight forward. The Goliath is there to respawn, but lots and lots of broodlings will be spawned very soon, as tank after tank will fall here for Flash. But still JAEDONG not spawning more broodlords. I believe not that much energy is being left. Hold on, actually the queens are coming back. Yet another tank is taken out, and could this be the winning move indeed here by JAEDONG versus his opponent? Ultralisk with Zerglings and those queens, quite a rare sight. But Flash is just keep on pushing forward. However, he's losing more and more of a supply, bringing reinforcements. I don't see any defilers yet, and the tanks are pretty much exposed now, but so many tanks with upgrades, very strong. Even mines are being left here, so JAEDONG is taking more and more splash damage. Pretty hard position here for JAEDONG to defend into this small gap, as he's taking more and more splash damage out of the tanks, and Ultralisk after Ultralisk is falling. Splash damage after splash damage. Great defenses here for Flash, as well as all of those Zerglings will pass towards those mines, and not that many Zerglings are being left, so JAEDONG all of a sudden losing more and more of a supply as the expansion is taking more and more damage. And yet those Zerglings don't even make it here forward, so finally we do see a defiler moving forward. Finally a much needed defiler with Dark Swarm versus the tanks from Flash, and a great plague indeed by him. So yeah, still anyone's game. Both players pretty much at the same supply, as Flash is slowly but steadily pushing here forward versus his opponent. So quite a all of a sudden hard game here for JAEDONG, as all of those units will pretty much pass towards those vultures. So the vultures are doing a great job with all of those mines on the ground, securing of course the position from those tanks here. And yeah, still queens are unbound here, but yeah, no matter what JAEDONG is sending forward, those tanks are pretty much taking care of that. And there's the GG from JAEDONG. At one point I believe JAEDONG could have came back with all of those queens in the air, but it looks like the max switch has brought the victory here for Flash, especially those tanks. But let's not forget the job of the vultures here. The vultures just planting those mines all over the map, giving of course the Zerglings massive amounts of splash damage, even the Ultralisk. And yeah, look at that, even this small ramp standing no chance against so many tanks. So it looks like we have a small new meta here for Flash, with max switch looking very strong versus the late game Zerg. Let's check the stats very quick in case you guys are interested. Once again, I'm going to be clicking left and right. So very nice game, of course. Nothing else to expect out of the two pros. Both of them into the old games believed to be the best Terran and the best Zerg respectively. So yeah, quite a nice back and forward game. In the end, a switch by JAEDONG into queens. Perhaps more defilers would have been a better idea, but then again I'm sure he knows of course exactly what he is doing. So great game from 2024 recent replay. It's nice to see flashback, and yeah, I'm going to be trying to cast as much as I can from him. And JAEDONG, and of course of Bisu as well, as soon as I find the AKA from Bisu. I believe he has 14 barcode letters, so yeah, I'm going to try to find Bisu as well. This is the AKA from JAEDONG, very nice by him. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Tommy signing out.